Hey, gorgeous. We have come to the middle of the year again, so it's time for the mid-year book freakout tag. Yay! Who's excited? I'm excited. So without further ado, let's talk about the best and the worst that I've read so far this year. Question number 1 is the best book that you've read so far this year. The best book that I've read so far this year has to be Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This is just a warm hug, okay? We're following an orc named Viv who was a mercenary. She has now retired from that life and wants to open up a little coffee shop, and this follows her and the friends that she makes along the way and the budding romance that she has while she is going through the process of setting up this coffee shop in a town that does not know what coffee is. I'm just now starting to get into the cozy fantasy subgenre and I'm really enjoying myself. This one was a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 star read. It made me cry. It was so heartwarming. It just felt like a warm hug. And sometimes you just need a warm hug. I definitely do, okay? Question number 2, the best sequel you've read so far this year. My original answer for this was Resting Witch Face by Juliet Cross, which is still 100% valid. This is book 5 in the Stay a Spell series. Stay a Spell series is Witches, New Orleans. You already know what it is. It's a paranormal romance series. I love it so much. This one is one of my favorites in the series. However, I did just finish The Right Move by Liz Tom Ford, which is book 2 in the Windy City series. This is a basketball romance following our main character Indy, who needs a place to stay because she can't afford to live in Chicago by herself. Her best friend Stevie says, hey, why don't you just like move in with my brother until you get on your feet? It was amazing. I absolutely fucking loved it. It was a 5-star read. Question number 3 is a new release you haven't read yet but want to. I have 2 for this one as well. The first one is The Shadow Hunter by Opal Rain. This is book 2 in the Witchbound series. I read the first book, Witch Slayer, a couple of months ago and absolutely loved it. This is a dragon shifter monster romance and it was so good. And the other one that I still need to get to that has just come out within the last week, I think, is Reckless by Elsie Silver, which is book 4 in the Chestnut Springs series. I love that series. I just read Powerless last month. It wasn't my favorite in the series, but I did really enjoy it and I'm excited to get to Reckless. I've heard some great things, so I'm excited. Question number 4, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Number 1 has to be Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This is book 2 in the, I think it's the Empyrean series. Book 1 is Fourth Wing. You know about Fourth Wing. I just recently read Fourth Wing and I have a dedicated vlog up on my channel if you're wondering about my thoughts on that, but I'm very excited for book 2 to come out. According to Goodreads, it's coming out on November 7th, and also Caught Up by Liz Tom Ford. On Goodreads, it says it's coming out on October 10th. We shall see. Third book in the Windy City series. I've loved both book 1 and book 2. So excited for book 3. Question number 6 is the biggest surprise, and for this, I'm going to have to say Malice by John Gwynne, which is book 1 in the Faithful and the Fallen series. This was on my maybe get rid of shelf for about a year, and I finally read it in April and absolutely loved it. This is an adult high fantasy. It's your classic gods meddling in shit that they probably shouldn't be meddling in, and the humans that have to deal with it. In this book, we are introduced to a cast of characters who are getting ready to start preparing for the second God War, which is like the war between the good god and the bad god. But what's different about this war is that the gods are actually going to be using human avatars to do their dastardly deeds. I didn't think I was gonna love it because I read a lot of adult high fantasy a couple of years ago, but I have since discovered that I love romance and I thought that this would be just too difficult for me to get through, but I loved it. It was a lot of fun. Question number 5 is your biggest disappointment, and this has to be the Cloverleaf Farms series by Melanie Harlow. This series is pretty large. I mean, there's multiple different generations throughout the course of the series, so there's a lot of books, and I see at least one of these books every day. And I was so convinced that I was going to really love these because I've really been loving Small Town. I read the first 3 books in this series and I DNF'd book 4. I liked book 1 a lot. Book 2 and 3 were bad and book 4 was just insufferable for me. It was just ridiculous. It got to the point where I was just like, why am I reading this? I'm literally not enjoying myself at all. I still see those books everywhere. They were just not for me. That's fine. Favorite new author, I have 2. 2. That has to be Liz Tom Ford, as well as Elsie Silver. I'm not gonna get down the Chestnut Spring series because it's all the way up there, but Elsie Silver and Liz Tom Ford, definitely. I haven't read as many books as I want to from them, but they are definitely my favorite new authors that I have gotten to read this year. Question number 8 is newest fictional crush. I have many fictional crushes, but here is a rapid fire list. Derek Craven from Dreaming of You by Lisa Kleypas, Carter Beckett from Consider Me by Becca Mack, and Ryan Shea from The Right Move. Of course I have to say Ryan Shea. I just read that book. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with that man. Question number 9 is new favorite character. I have 2. I have Sarah Fielding from Dreaming of You by Lisa Kleypas. She is just so charming. She is so eccentric and lovely, as well as Murderbot from the Murderbot Diaries. Murderbot is a half robot, half human construct who was created to kind of be security for humans who are doing shit on alien planets. He just kind of wants to sit in the corner and watch his little TV shows, and if that is not me in a nutshell, I don't know what is. Question number 10 is a book that made you cry. This is the last book in the Stay a Spell series, and although it is not my favorite in the series by a long shot, it was such a fantastic ending. It was so amazing, and the epilogue, the last couple chapters in the epilogue, had me absolutely torn the fuck up, okay? Torn up. Question number 11 is a book that made you happy, and that has to be The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare. The banter in this book is off the charts. It is absolutely just kind of tongue-in-cheek and fun and just makes you want to laugh out loud and smile. I loved the humor in this book, and I was constantly just, my cheeks were hurting. My cheeks were hurting, and it was just a great time. Question number 12 is the most beautiful book you have bought this year, and that has to be Fourth Wing. I know this book is not for everybody, but you cannot tell me that this book is not gorgeous. I know that these sprayed edges, stenciled edges kind of thing has become popular in the recent years, but this is the only one that I have, and I really like it, and I think it's cool. And the last question is question number 13. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? I definitely want to read the rest of the Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne. These books are massive. Book 2 is on my TBR for June. We'll see if I actually get to it. I also want to catch up with the Zodiac Academy series, though I am a little bit hesitant. The cliffhangers in these books are so painful, and I don't really know if I want to deal with that for the months or years that it takes for the next book to come out. And the other book that I definitely want to read is Anastasia by Sophie Lark. This, I meant to read it in January. I know, I totally meant to read this in January. It didn't happen. It just didn't happen. But I definitely want to get to it at some point this year. It's just large. It's large and it's beautiful and it's just a little bit intimidating, but I definitely want to get to it this year. So that was the mid-year book freakout tag. Let me know down below what is your favorite book that you have read so far this year. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fan-fucking-tastic day, gorgeous, and I will see you next time.